Hello and welcome to the tutorial of variables in Java. So we're going to be covering what a variable is and how to create one. So what is a variable? A variable is something in programming which is used to hold a value. Variables can be seen as a container with a name, and inside the container it has a value. So for example, I have a container that has a name, and inside of that container there is a value. So how do we create variables? Variables can be created by using 3 steps. The first step includes the name or the type, so which is int, string, boolean, or float. The second step includes the name, and the third step includes the value. So for example, we have an integer or an int, the name is level, and the value is 20. Now the type is int. As we can see in this example, the box is the name of level, and it has a value of 20. Now let's go to some 3 variable types. Integer. This is a main one that you will almost always use in many applications. Integer is a variable which has a value of a number that has no decimals, which it's a whole number. The integers define, or the way you create it, name is int. So the type is int or integer, depending on the case, but most likely you will always use int. The max value of the integer ranges from this number right here to this max number right here. It's a very large number. Example is int as the type, name is experience, and value as 300. Now let's go to string. So a string variable is a variable which holds any number of letters, or it can also be numbers, but mostly used for letters. To declare a string, we must use string with a capital S as the type, and then we can proceed to the normal creation steps. We can give it a name, and then we assign a value. Now strings are special because instead of creating it like we normally would by just putting the value after the equal sign, we must encase the value in double quotations. As an example, string as the type, name as the name is equal to Bob in double quotations. Boolean. This is also one of the 3 main variables that you will use in programming. Boolean variable is a type that either has a value of true or false. We declare a boolean by using the type as boolean, and then we give it a name and a value. The value for boolean is either true or false that we give. There are special cases where you can check if something is true by using a 0 or a 1, but for the most case you will either use true or false. Example on the bottom as the type is boolean, name is canjump, and we set it to false. Okay, so now that we are in IntelliJ, I'm going to show you how to create these variables. Now, I challenge you to try and create them yourselves first, and then if you get stuck, then you look at the video. So first, we're going to create the integer. So from the presentation, we will use the type int as the type, and now we're going to give it a name. We'll give it level, and we'll set it equal to 45. Now if we give it a decimal, the program will give an error saying that we didn't give it an integer. Next we will do string. So a string is declared by the key type string with a capital S, then we give it a name. We'll call this name, which is just reference to a person's name, and we'll set this equal to Bob. Now we will declare a boolean. Now a boolean's type is just boolean. Now we will give it a name. We'll give it the name as canjump, and we'll set this equal to true. Now as you can see, the program is not giving us errors, and now let's print all 3 to the console. We'll type in level, and then we'll print this. So when we run this program, you will see that it prints 45. Now let's print the name. When we run this, you should see it prints Bob. And now let's print the boolean. And when we run this, it should print true.